All right, hey y'all, welcome to another Sips and Conversations Live. I am Nancy Gua. Today I'm back at it with my good old trusted grapefruit juice. I've got a long, busy day ahead of me, so, there's nothing a little funny in this today. So cheers to you. Welcome to the live. Now, today you're in for a real treat, okay? We've got marketing guru, boss queen, Shaquita, the HerBoss. She will be on today with me, and I'm just so excited to have her on. Like, she's killing it. I talk all the time about her makeup products, her mascara. Actually, rock it all the time. People think I have on falsies, and then her lip gloss. They just stay all day. Just keeps you popping, So yeah, we're gonna welcome in Miss Shaquita.
Shaquita, let's go ahead and just let you do a quick little intro to the room. Who are you? And, what are you all about? And then we'll just jump right into the chat.
How's my sound? Because I just put on earbuds.
You sound great.
How do I sound? Okay, great.
Your voice is like caramel. Smooth like butter.
Ooh, I like that. Hi guys, I'm Shaquita. I am a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a teacher. I like to say by heart and profession. I was teaching for over 15 years. I still I'm still kind of in the education field with children, not so much like I was, but I transitioned to an entrepreneur, which is something foreign for me because I tell people all the time, that's not something that, we grew up looking forward to because we didn't have that as an example, right? Yeah. So it was either, I just made a post. It was either on one side, I wasn't even expected to go to college, right? And then on the other side is like, okay, you go to college, you get a good job, you retire with your 401k. So being an entrepreneur, again, is not something that I grew up seeing, so I didn't even think it was possible. But once I found out, woo.
Yeah, and so I want to talk. That's definitely a talking point for me because I was just having a really not emotional conversation with my sister, but yeah, entrepreneurship is a whole nother. It's a whole beast. It's such an emotional journey. It's such a mental journey, and it's just such a growth journey. So for you to have transitioned out of something that was secure education, you feel like you're fulfilling, you're guaranteed to walk into a classroom, into entrepreneurship. That's what we're here for today. So if you can share with everyone, like, what is it that you do with her brand, like just full scope?
Absolutely. So I have a couple of different entities under the Her brand. Yeah. I started off with the Her Talk podcast, right? And then I started Her House. Her House came like soon after. And it was something that I've always loved to do. I love interior designing and decorating. I'm like an HGTV fanatic. I started like taking courses and, just trying to get some expertise inside of me so I wouldn't just, wouldn't be able to know how to do the things that people like. But I had a little bit of background knowledge as well.
So you were so Her House is in interior decorating, sort of?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that was actually going pretty well. And then COVID happened and I just wasn't comfortable with, going into houses, especially that I didn't know. Yeah. So we scaled back a lot. And when I say a lot, and I still get inquiries and, I may do a family member's home from time to time. Mm-hmm. As far, I haven't really been into it like I was at first.
Yeah.
So after Her House, so Her Talk, Her House, forgot about the Her Journal. So I have a published journal on Amazon called the Her Journal. And I love to write. I'm an English teacher, I'm a writer, I'm a reader. So that's something anything that I do, I'm passionate about, right? And contrary to popular belief, you can have different passions and purposes. It's just like in a season and a time for that person, right?
Oh goodness, that's a whole word on its own, because a lot of times, like personally, I feel like I'm all over the place from time to
Right,
time. But I'm like, I feel like you can have different passions and different purposes in different
right,
seasons. At the end of the day, you are still yourself, and so they all kind of align and kind of make sense. Like this, the core of what they
absolutely.
are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so after Her House and the Her Journal, and then I started HL Cosmetics. And HL Cosmetics is the line that really kind of push the Her brand on the marketing and business coaching side, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So HL Cosmetics is a shy, maybe a little over a year old.
What?
Yes. Yes.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So people approach me and they think that it's been going for a while
Yeah.
because of how successful it's been, in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So I would get DMs. It started with, a few of my family, friends, and I would get DMs about, hey, how do you do this? And how did you start this? So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. All right, now I'm getting back to teaching. Right.
Expert knowledge. Okay.
Yeah. So, and one thing about me, and this is, I don't want it to make it sound bragging, but I'm really good at teaching. I'm really good at explaining information, and not just to children, but to adults as well. And
Totally
I feel
agreed.
like
Totally agree. I've been on your lives, sometimes a little bit shorter than longer, but and they're great. You literally break everything down depending
right,
on what you're talking about. It's like incremental pieces. And if you're a beginner, you can receive that. Sometimes information is too much at a high level and it's
yeah,
not really meant for everyone. So your teaching
right.
is great. It's really
Thank
stellar.
you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And as a, working in the education field, especially public education, you have all these different reading levels.
Hmm.
So you have to kind of adjust to that individual learner's needs, right?
Right.
Because what may work for one person or one student may not work for this particular student.
Right.
So you got to be able to be flexible, and you have to have like a bag of, pedagogical strategies is what I call it.
Can we break down that word, Madam English instructor? Pedagogical. I'm going to use that word once I know what it means.
Sorry. So pedagogical is basically specific teaching strategies that you use, specific teaching methods or strategies that you use in order to meet the goal. Okay.
Okay.
So it's just a fancy word for different.
Pedagogical. Like when I say I'm about to use this word out,
It sounds good, right?
It sounds great. I'm using the pedagogical method, okay? In reviewing the pedagogical method. I just love that word. Okay, my bad. We can go back.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So, I explain to my clients as well, because this is something that I kind of, I guess, how I market myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to go in as with, I did win Rookie Teacher of the Year. Thank you. I was awarded several different, leadership awards and things like that.
Yeah.
I was the leader for the district of the Visible Team Learning. we've been number one in our district for SOL scores, just my class, for maybe like 2 or 3 years, consecutive years.
Wow.
So that's something that I'm also proud of too,
That's awesome.
because being a teacher, man, working with public education, it can be so stressful and so tiring and mentally draining.
Yeah.
And you're questioning your ability. You're questioning, is this right for you? You're questioning, okay, this is so much. Like I used to go in early, stay late. At one point, my children, they were attending the same school that I was teaching at. Okay. So they used to stay back late with me, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, this is, So this was so unfair. So at the end of the day, I am grateful for the experience,
Yeah.
and it kind of really paid off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it does, when you get that recognition, it makes you feel appreciated. It makes you feel like, okay, I wasn't doing this for my health. I wasn't doing this for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like the put the respect on my name kind of moment. And
yes.
you know what I mean? Do you feel like it also, because as you're talking, there's just so many, like equal, I can't think of the word. Oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time getting this word out. Like there's so many like equivalents, comparisons to your profession as an educator and then your career or your, path as being an entrepreneur, because you were saying, so many endless nights, right? Your kids are there with you on the ride. And the difference though is instead of them being with you and in their bed while you get to market your online business, they're with you in someone else's building and not being able to be children. So I think that was great. Even just making that, that connection right there was just,
And I have to say, I'm really disciplined. And like a lot of my colleagues and a lot of my clients can tell you that as well. So when it's time to play, I play. But when it's time to handle business, I'm about my business. And that's something that I take very seriously. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you're not her boss for no reason, okay? You're not Shaquita, her boss for no reason. So can we go and talk about a little bit? I want to know, how did you come up with her boss, her house, her, like, where's the her that kind of came in? How did that come into play?
Well, her, of course, is the pronoun for female, right?
Okay.
So I just wanted to embody that word, just to express like who she or who her is, right? So as women, whether you're a mother or not, we wear so many different hats, right? Have so many different responsibilities. So I wanted that word to have a meaning in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And it could be one definition for one woman and another definition for, another woman, and who's wrong, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I, kind of got the her brand from. And, everything is centered around her. It's her house, it's her journal.
I love it.
It's her. Now I would say with HL Cosmetics, because I started off with just a lip line, it used to be her lips. But now that I'm changing or, adding more products, I've decided to change it to her life, right? I haven't been concrete on that. I haven't been, that's not set in stone. I'm still just trying to, figure out things, but
I love that. So I actually, as I was putting on my mascara today, I was like, I wonder I figured H was her. I'm like, what does L stand for? So it's her lips. That's so funny. I love that it's just HL, because it's like, oh, it's HL Cosmetics. I just was like, that's a bomb-popping name. So, all right. So you went from starting your her company, and then now you're really honed in, it sounds like, a lot on the HL brand, and that's feeding into your ability to really share what you have gained and with everyone through your coaching business. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because I live for a good coach, a good mentor. So I just want to hear all about your coaching business.
Absolutely. So I didn't think this was a thing. I didn't know this position was available. And it's kind of sort of like mentorship as well, because I also get questions about that. Hey, can you mentor me? And it, like I said, it started because I was getting so many questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? So I was like, okay, let's turn this into a coaching business. Okay, let me teach women how to do this. I can do it, and I did. To be honest, I felt a little apprehensive about it at first, because I'm like, you're new to this, you're not an
Oh,
expert.
so you're talking
Yeah,
to yourself saying,
right.
you had imposter syndrome, is what it sounds like. Like, girl,
Exactly.
by me teaching you?
Exactly.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. Sorry to interject real fast, but when you leave school, because you had to get an education to become an
Hmm.
educator, right?
Right.
And like as soon as you toss that what's that called, the tassel to the, is it to the right or to the left? Which way does it go?
To the
To the
right.
right. You're officially an educator and you've had practice along the way, but now you are the SME, as we call it in my industry. You are the subject matter expert, right?
Mhm.
But when you launch a business, even though you've gone through steps, there's still that hesitation of feeling as such.
Yeah.
Why is that? Before we continue.
Well, I think number one, it has to do with, well, you haven't really made a certain amount of money in this
Mm,
industry yet,
okay.
So here you have all of these, millionaires, billionaires who are making a lot of money
Yeah.
doing this, and they've been doing this for years. So you kind of feel not, I wouldn't say small,
Hmm.
but you kind of feel like, you're not at that level yet.
Right.
You want to give credit where credit is due. You want to
Yes.
respect the game, right?
Yes.
So I guess that's how I was feeling at that moment. Like, I'm not at their level yet, but I would find times where like any video or course that I took, it's like, I already know this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
Yes.
I know this. This is what I'm
Right.
doing.
Right.
So it just kind of gave me confirmation, like, you can do this. You just
Yeah.
have to be a little bit more confident in your ability, right?
Yeah. And isn't that crazy though, that like, what if, first of all, you said two things. A, you invested in yourself
Yep.
and taking courses. And it was
Hmm.
through those courses that you were like, you developed the confidence that you needed. So
Yep.
sometimes what is your thought on sometimes a course? Do you think sometimes a course is just meant to just develop your confidence? Even if you don't gain any knowledge.
I haven't taken too many courses. I'm a reader. I love
Okay, you
to
read.
read,
Okay.
always researching information.
Okay.
Um, I've watched a few videos, and I have to say I have learned a lot for one particular person. Um, King Ashley Ann. Have you ever heard
Okay.
of her?
I have not, no.
She is the bomb.com,
Okay.
right? And she actually has a business marketing degree. And that was another thing, too.
Yeah.
I don't have a business or marketing degree, right?
Right.
My degree is in interdisciplinary studies, but I knew my ability as to be a lifelong learner. I'm a really good student as well. Not
Yeah.
only am I a really good teacher, but I'm a really good
You
student.
gotta
And
listen. Yeah.
like my husband told me all the time, the way that you process information is amazing to me, So I credit that as well
Yeah.
to my ability to be able to grasp the information, apply it,
Yes.
and then be able to teach people in the way that I know how.
Yeah. Yeah. So how long have you been teaching in this space?
In the entrepreneur coaching.
Entrepreneur coaching space, yeah, because you're a long time
So,
educator.
yes. Well, I have my one-on-one clients. I've been doing that for maybe about 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
6 or 7 months. Yep.
Incredible. I mean, you launched your business. You said, well, not launched it, but a division of your business, and
Right.
you're like, wait, I'm learning all this. I want to be able to teach other people, and actually say that's
Mhm.
actually one of the number one ways of making wealth is to be able to teach people. Like people follow people that they want to learn from. So
Right.
I mean, it wasn't a ploy of yours, but it's just kind of like you actually saying, no, I want to be able to give back what I
Right.
know because people really want and desire that.
Right.
What's been like your most fulfilling, experience in like throughout this entire journey over the past 6 months?
Oh, that's easy. And I shared this, I think yesterday, maybe last week too. But I had a client who hadn't had a sale, and I get a couple of stories like this too, but I had a client who hadn't had a sale in months,
Yeah.
right? So she texted me, and we weren't even planning to our goal wasn't to start getting sales until her new collection launch date, right?
Okay.
So she texted me and she was like, man, I got a sale and I haven't had one in a very long time.
Wow.
And I told, and I expressed like that brought tears to my eyes because, I understand that.
Yeah.
I've been through that,
Yes.
I understand not getting those sales and like you're doing everything possible. Okay,
Right.
like what is it?
Right.
So
Right.
that's what it really confirmed, like, okay, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
This is your purpose right now. You're on the right track. You know what you're doing. You have confirmation. You have social proof.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, So it over time, I'll get better at, being able to walk in the room like, I'm that girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over time, I'll be able to do that. But at the end of the day, I'm still a humble person.
Yeah. So what are a few like your top, I mean, if you can share just a little maybe teaser, I guess.
Okay.
What are maybe like your top, let's just say, what's like a number one marketing tool or thing that you can talk about marketing? Like what's like the top thing? If you have nothing else, like what should you do to be marketing yourself or your product?
Well, the one thing that I notice, and the one thing that I also struggled with, well, I wouldn't say struggle, maybe a little bit, but being able to know who your audience is. You're not for everybody. Everybody isn't for you, right?
Right.
So, and when people like to throw out that word, but when you're targeting your audience, you have to be able to really hone in who your audience is, right? So like for HL Cosmetics, and I kind of had to check myself with this, with HL Cosmetics, I am catering to women who live a busy lifestyle, okay?
Yeah.
More specifically, I have a lot of mothers who wear my brand, and that's what I intended it for, because I know that, being a mom, having a career, trying to take care of the household, we have little time to, get dolled up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want to be able to cater to that audience and provide products that offer convenience, and just, the ultimate solution to their problem. So that's the one thing that I would say, being able to know who your audience is.
Yeah.
Very, very specifically. Like, if you're doing an ad, and this is a gym, if you're doing an ad, right? If I was doing an HLC ad, which I'm about to do soon, I would, one of my target audiences would maybe be women who read Jet magazine. Now, you haven't heard about Jet magazine in a long time.
Right, yes. A long time.
But there are women out there who still are looking at Jet magazine. And it's not more so looking at the magazine, but it's an interest, right? Or let's say, for instance, you have a new product coming out and it's Mother's Day. Yeah. So when you're doing an ad or something, you want to target like the parenting magazine, right? So,
okay. Yeah. So depending on what time maybe of the season, so you have like your base target audience, and then maybe you have who are you targeting depending on what holiday or time of year, seasonality.
Right. You can get more specific.
Yeah.
You can get more specific. Yeah. And I've gotten really good results with my ads from that. Another thing, and I know this is cliche, but it's true. Consistency. You have to be consistent.
Yeah. It's so hard though. Like
it is.
I know like with Nita's, I have someone that runs my Nita's page. So I've got an assistant. She helps me run my emails, does just so much that I just don't have time to do, especially since I am still in the corporate space. I am mommying. So it's like during the day, it's still got to work for me, right? So I've got someone that can kind of manage certain pieces of the business while I just can't. But with content, though, I still have to create, right? I still have to make it. And I still have a product. And for me, like my product is like, it's tangible goods. I mean, like it's nuts. exclude if it's a service or, plantain chips, right? Like it's so like to have to like still do the work and market and do all these things. It's a lot. So
it's
to be
a lot.
consistent, it's a lot.
It is. And once the best thing about entrepreneurship, when you get to that point, when you do that work now, you'll be able to get that point where you can delegate tasks to other people.
Right.
And believe it or not, people think when you hire other people to do things for you, you're going to lose money, but you actually gain more money because you have that time.
Yes.
You have that time that's freed up that you can do other things, right?
Yes.
Another thing is perfection, right?
Yes.
So I have a client and we're like opposite. I'm like the perfectionist.
Yeah.
And this client, she's just, go ahead and put it out there. I'm just going, I did it, so that's good enough. So we were able to learn from each other, as far as that aspect. You don't want to be too perfect where you're not putting your content out, but at the same time, you do want to make sure that you're paying attention a little bit to detail and making sure your brand is professional and that it's on point with who your audience is, right?
Yes, with who your audience is.
Right. Yeah.
Key point. Yes.
Yeah. Another thing, and I would say that's very important when marketing is, and this is something that people like kind of, because it's not a fun thing to do. You have to know your data.
Yeah, that's not a fun thing.
You have to know your data. It's not a fun thing at all.
Right.
It can be fun, though, when you see results.
It can
because my clients, when I show them how a little tweak of their SEO, their keywords and then they start seeing more people opening up their emails or more people coming to their website.
Yeah.
They light up like, oh my gosh, it's working.
It works. And then you can kind of get to that point where, like, Rami made a statement saying automation is also, like, with her, in her business, it's a big thing. So how you can't get to being able to automate if you don't know your data. Like, what are you automating, right? So you're,
exactly.
Completely.
Automation, that's very important. I talk about that a lot too. Like, you should not be sending out emails in the middle of the night. You should have a chain of command. So when a customer comes,
please define middle of the night. Please define.
Look, we know I think about the middle of the night, but I would say, like, for instance, if a customer comes to your website and they don't buy anything, then it's okay.
Right.
You should have an automatic email or text message goes out and say, hey, I saw you looking at this.
Yes.
Offer them a discount or something to that nature, right?
Yeah.
Also, when they click on your newsletter, if you're a service-based business, like you do what I do, you offer some type of coaching, and you start with your newsletter, right? When they click on your newsletter or they sign up for your newsletter, you should be able to have those automated emails going out to them to kind of nurture them, right? Because you don't want to just throw out a sale and ask for a sale. You want to be able to offer
money.
Value.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to be able to offer value and nurture them.
Right.
And you send those automated emails out so that way, the business will practically take care of itself.
Yeah.
Passionate people don't understand. People want to make passionate income, but you're working, all hours of the night. I understand you got to do what you got to do at first.
Yes, but
passionate income is income in your sleep, right? That's the beauty of passionate income.
Yes.
We just have to, I like that. And that's something that I really stress to my clients too. We have to get things on an automated level, right? Automation and systems. That's part of, what we do with my one-on-one clients. That's a whole segment or two in itself.
Yeah.
So we set up funnels, people don't understand that your funnels is the first time, like the beginning of the funnel is when they see that Instagram posts come by. That's the beginning of the funnel.
So can you because I've heard the term a lot. I listen to a lot of things, and I've taken a few classes. So I kind of know what funnel is a little bit. But can you just explain it? Maybe just like, what is a funnel?
So your funnel is a
No, I'm just kidding.
series of steps. So your funnel is like a series of steps that you want to take your customer through to make sure they have like a seamless customer experience. So this is the customer journey, right? Yeah. And there's all different types of funnels that you can use. But I just stick to the basics and it works. You know, I'm not all with all this extra stuff. You know, I don't do that. And I'm not knocking anyone that does, but I just found that a basic, simple funnel works for me. You know?
And we'll keep that's your basic funnel on a hush hush, because that's part of your hush hush, client only. Or somebody can join your line and get that information, which we're not going to share all those secrets right now. So that's a lot of really great information. I think the biggest pieces are definitely knowing your target audience. I know that's something that I struggled with. I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur, I guess you can say. Like, I'm on my second business now, and Shea Trendy never died. So that was like my startup. Is like, honestly, I was selling paparazzi jewelry. Like, that's how I got into business entrepreneurship to begin with. Was selling paparazzi. I'd gotten a few people on my team, and I was just kind of doing it. And then people were like, "Oh, thanks, Alicia." And I was just kind of like, doing my own thing. And then people were like, "Oh, well, I love your top. Do you sell that as well?" And it's like, no, I don't sell the top that I'm wearing. And so then I started selling clothes. And there was no plan. It was just like, I'm selling $5 bling. And folks like, "Oh, I love your clothes. Start selling that. Like, can I buy that?" I'm like, "Oh, there's more money. Okay, sure. I can sell that." But now.
So you were out here for everybody.
Oh, I was out here. Oh, yeah. I was starting and bopping for a coin. Okay.
Look, we've been there, done that. Yes. And it's easy to do. Like, I used to, and I'm glad I got out of this, but I used to charge my price based on the customer's budget. Yes.
Uh-oh.
Especially with, the coaching side. I charge because I used to feel like, man, I know this, I really want to help this person. Yes. This person really doesn't have the money right now. Yes. Let's try to figure out a way we can,
Let's figure it out. I want you to succeed. So why did you stop?
I can't run a business like that. I'm losing money.
Yes.
So what I had to come to terms with, and what I had to tell myself, if my people, they will understand that I am running a business.
Yeah.
And they understand that what I provide is a lot of value, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not to say that, I don't look out for people for time to time, which I do. Like, I'm not, like, if I have a client who's been loyal and
sorry, 1 second. We got a funny comment. I just had to, I can't even type a response. You ladies are beautiful and Wi-Fi is on point. Like that. I've never seen that before.
Thank you. But yeah, I would sometimes, and like I said, I've done this before, like if a client, and this client I've been working with for about 5 months. Mm-hmm. So, this client didn't get paid on a certain day, so we kind of switched it around and made something happen. So I'm not saying that I don't continue to do that, because I'm going to get my blessing regardless.
Period. Yeah, Ron made a comment saying today's price is not yesterday's price.
Yes.
What do you mean? Run me my coin, okay? But it's true.
Yes,
you can finagle a little bit, and I do that with clients of mine. Okay, you need to pay me tomorrow instead of today, or in a couple days. That's fine if I ship something, especially since it's not like an online yet. If you just kind of slide in me, and it's like, okay, before it ships though, look, you run my coin. But So like, yeah, you can work things out with people, especially when like you are providing the service element. Like when I'm catering, I am a little bit more lenient on it. You know, there's a deadline. It's gonna be a hard cutoff, but you can find ways to work with people. But the whole you cannot be for everyone because like you said,
Right.
you also have to eat. Like you
Yep.
gotta eat. You got a whole family. You know, I'm sure your husband's like, okay, this is a hobby, this is a business. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
What are
Exactly.
you doing? So
Yeah.
yeah, with Shade Trendy, I was definitely not treating everyone. I didn't hone in on my target audience at all.
Yeah.
It was like, whoever want to buy clothes, what do you mean? I'm selling to women. And then guys would be like, you got anything for kids? Yeah, I got you.
And it's natural to want to be everything for everybody.
Right.
It's who we are
Right.
as
That's
women,
true.
as
That's
moms.
true.
You know,
That's true.
we're always putting ourselves on the back burner
Yeah.
to make sure everybody else is straight. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's in us.
Yeah.
We just gotta learn how to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, she said, I'm that client that will pay you next week. I love my heart.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's so funny. So speaking about being women wearing multiple different hats, I mean, you are a mom, you are an entrepreneur, you are a wife, you've got parents, you know, you're a grandchild. Like, how do you do it? You just made one comment saying your statement, which applies to business, but you know, I think that definitely transitions into real life. You can't be everyone.
You can't be everything for
For
everybody.
everyone, especially not all
Right.
the time. So
Yeah.
how do you balance your life right now?
I'm very thick-skinned, right? I'm very disciplined. I'm very tough.
Yeah.
My kids know that, you know, I show a lot of tough love. But my little baby, that's my heart. She has me by her fingers, right?
How many
But
kids do you have?
I have three. Yep, I
Oh,
have
mine
a
are three
senior,
kids.
a 17-year-old. She's a senior in high
Like
school.
how?
Yeah.
Like how? Y'all both in high school together. How do you have? Wow. Nobody
Yeah,
believes you. There's no way.
I don't know if you know my story, but I had my oldest daughter in high school.
Wow.
Yep, I had my
No.
oldest daughter in high school. I 11th or 12th grade, I think going into 12th grade or something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I had my daughter when I was in high school. And then I have a 12-year-old son.
We're not gonna
And-
run
and-
over that. Sorry. I got it. Okay, let me not be rude. Finish talking about how many kids
No,
you
go
have.
ahead.
Because we're not gonna run over that.
Okay.
You had your oldest child in high school, 11th grade year in high
Yeah.
school. Was that, if you don't mind me asking, was that with your husband now?
No.
Okay, so
Nope.
because I'm about to sprinkle some crack. Like, let me go ahead and drop a little something. Let me go ahead and put some more respect on your name.
But now, you can't tell her that's not her dad.
Of course.
He's been in her life since she was 2 years old. So
Wow.
that's her dad.
That's
you
her
know?
dad, hands down.
Right. Yeah.
Hands down.
But no, go ahead.
And then-
I'm an open book.
Yeah, like go ahead. Let me. But yeah, so for you to be what, 16, 17? How old are you?
16. Was I 16 or 17?
Maybe you turned 17 when you had
Yeah.
her, something like
I
that,
think
or you were
so.
16.
Yeah. Okay.
You're East Coast, so you're probably 15. You might have been, because you're not South East Coast. Because the education on the East Coast is a little different. It makes more sense than on the Southeast Coast.
What do you mean? Are you
Like
talking
the
about
grade
like
level.
age?
The age and the grade. It's really weird
Okay.
down here. Like, people turn 18, like they'll be 18 going into high school some. Like, I know I wasn't like that, but I was,
Really?
yeah, like you're 18, like going into high school, like not high school, into senior year, you know?
Oh, okay. See, my daughter, she just turned 17 and she's a senior.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of
Yeah.
what I think more like true East Coasters are kind of like that. So,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
to get back to that, yeah, 11th grade, so 16 years old, you're pregnant for
Hmm.
sure. 16, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And you finished high school.
Which was something that my parents, like, especially, see, my dad, he played professional overseas basketball, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, and he was, when we were in school, that's when he would be away.
Okay.
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 But that was the one person that I really knew that I was going to disappoint. And he thought, and a lot of my family members thought that I wasn't going to finish high school because this had been a trend on my mom's side, right?
Oh, can we call it a generational curse?
It's very much
Because
so.
it's one that is already
Yep.
broken, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. So it was just, I was told that, well, I wasn't, they was just really worried that I wouldn't finish high school.
Yeah.
And now that I look back, I couldn't understand then, but now I understand, like, hey, I understand why they felt that way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Why now I understand why they felt that way, and it was understandable,
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it, but I'm glad that I was able to prove them wrong.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the statistics you were able to prove wrong. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And your daughter, you were able to prove wrong. Like, because it's just so important that you were able to take that step of, no, I finished school. Because, no, this did not hold me back. Because it's so easy to be like, well, now I'm a mom. I have a child to take care of. I'm tired. I can't do school. I can't do it. I'm sure you had a lot of family support,
Yeah,
would
I did.
imagine.
I did.
But at the end of the day, it's like, that's a statistic. And you broke that by just finishing high school. So then
Right.
not only did you finish high school, you said, I'm going to go on to educate myself to become an educator.
Yeah. And I knew I always wanted to become a teacher. Like, I used to line up my little dolls and my little teddies, and I used to teach my little heart out. So I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. And once I put my mind to something, I do it,
Yeah.
I already told you I have tough skin. I'm like, I'm pretty tough.
Yeah.
So I'm like a no nonsense person.
Yeah.
I don't have excuses for myself.
Yeah.
So, and that's just the route that I took, and that's just the way that I've been. And I got a lot of that from, my dad and his mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to think nothing of it. But as I got older and I start hearing and start working with different people, like, I really did something.
You did something.
I really did something, and I didn't think nothing of it. And I remember this one particular time we were riding. This was right before school started. So they wanted to take a trip. And I'm saying they, but our school, the staff members, the teachers, we had to take a trip because they wanted to see how the kids from the hood lived, right? And I'm thinking to myself, the neighborhood that we're going to, I'm from that neighborhood.
Wow.
Yes. So this is, I'm just amazed how they are, like, in shock. And I'm thinking to myself,
like, this is home for.
It really wasn't that bad,
But you know what, though? That's so powerful because can you imagine if you didn't have that moment that if you would have thought that your everyday reality was like, this is what my life is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And for other people to be like, well, we're going to the hood. And you're like, wait, but that's where I live.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, is hands down. Is hands down. And Brenda, we're gonna get to your question. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I think that's just so powerful. So now, kind of like going to Brenda's point, like with you having that aha moment, within your youth, now that your kids are seeing you go through being a teenage mom, breaking that, finish school, start educating children. Now you're educating adults. You've got successful businesses. Like, what do they think about their mom? What do they think about what mom does?
Well, I say my children are a reflection of me.
Yeah.
And even though I give my kids a hard time, they are doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time, like, I am so proud of the young lady that she has become.
Yeah.
And I'm like get ready to get emotional, but like we kind of like grew up together, right?
Yeah.
And like she is just amazing.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm hard on her, but she turned out okay.
Does she have dreams, or does she ever speak of, maybe, hey, working in the family business one day or starting her own business? What's her thought on entrepreneurship?
Well, okay. So we had a conversation and I told her she wants to go to school for business, right?
Oh, nice. Okay.
But I told her, you're not going to school for 4 or 5 years, get in debt for a business degree when you have me for free. I said the only way that you can go is if you at least have 80% of scholarships and grants, because it just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
And I want her to have that college experience.
Right.
And I want her to be able to try to figure things out on her own. But I hope she sees my side and what I'm trying to say. Because I know how it is going into debt behind going to school, right? So I want her to prevent that as much as possible, right? But yeah. But she is, and see, this is where my little perfectionist come in, right? So I have to get better at it though, because I do want her to see the ins and outs. She is in cosmetology as well, just like I was, right? And so she's, into hair and makeup and nails and things like that. I'm like, you can take that and run with it.
Yeah.
You can have a multi-million business off of that, right?
Yeah.
So, but I do need to start including her a little bit more so she can, and she's getting older, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I got to get better with that, honestly.
With bringing her in and into it all. Yeah. With my son, I mean, he's been there with me. I had to say thanks, Cuzzo. That's my
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, because I didn't have a choice, really. Like, it was either I just keep finding babysitters for him to go to, or he'd be like, Mom, can I just come with you? So like at my pop-ups and stuff, he would come. Now that I cater, I don't really, I don't bring him to catering stuff, but he is getting older, so I might be able to let him in just a little bit with the stuff that I, like my goods that I actually ship out and sell. Then, he does help package that kind of stuff. He helps go online and research things. And so I fully agree with you in the fact that like children can learn so much about business from the very people that are doing business, and now Tristan is like, he wants to pick up Shea Trendy kind of from where I left it. But, I got to work on him a little bit because he also like, I want to sleep too, and I want to play my video games. But he's like, he designed a bunch of shirts, and so they see what we're doing, and I think they feed off of that a little bit. So for you to be telling your daughter, like, get as many grants as you can, and then you can go to school, but you're gonna learn business from your mom if you want to go to business school. And there's so many and then with you being a business educator, right? Like that's huge. And then there's conferences and there's so many there's so much knowledge these days that the African in me is like, get your educate. If you have a particular trade or skill that you need to learn, right? If you want to be a doctor or you want to be a nurse, right? You go to school.
That's what Rama just said. And actually, that's what I had posted right before our live.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Now, I'm not knocking school. I went to school, right? I'm not knocking having a job.
Yeah.
I had a job. I have a job, right? Yeah. So I like Rama said, I believe in, if you're going to go into depth, if you're going to have to spend all of that
money,
do something that you actually need it for, right?
Right.
So, and I think even when I was younger, I'm like, why do we have to, I don't know if you ever thought about this, but why do we have to spend 2 years taking classes that's no use to the field that we're studying, to what we're trying to do? I never could understand why.
To even go a little deeper with that, I don't understand why kids have to learn the way they learn from children. Like, but to be back on that topic of why are we spending 2 years to learn something that is not even part of our major? It's money. I look at it like it's money. Y'all just want more money. I feel like the education system is nothing but a ploy to just, it dumbs you down, right? Like there's things that are needed. One of my, he was actually one of my previous managers, I guess I could say now. He hired me on where I currently am, and he's no longer there. But all his children were homeschooled, with the exception of one. He had 4 kids. He has 4 children. All were homeschooled with the exception of one. And he was like, after the 8th grade, he doesn't understand school anymore. And I can completely understand that. I know it's probably a very radical position. I can completely understand that to a point, because it does allow you to think and expand your mind, right? But like the trigonometries and the calculuses and like all these things, like, what are they for? How about we teach them entrepreneurship? How about we teach them finance? How do you balance a checkbook?
Let me tell you something. We can get into it, but I know that's a whole another episode, right? So, I mean, think about it. If everybody was entrepreneurs, if everybody had that entrepreneur spirit, how would the economy stay afloat?
Which is, oh my God. So I was listening to a podcast this week, and somebody actually just said that. They had just said, if everybody's an entrepreneur, how could the economy stay afloat? Now, I don't think that everybody would be an entrepreneur, because at the core of who people are, you either are or you're not. So you can still, like Rama just said, take those life skills, right?
Yeah.
But not everyone, because I think people should take entrepreneurship as a class really young.
Right.
Why? So they can realize that they are not entrepreneurs. Right. Some people are workers. And I say that all the time. I fully agree with you. Because some people are definitely workers. You need workers, because how are we going to run businesses if we don't have people that are working? Right. When you're an entrepreneur,
some people are passionate about that.
Yes, they love to do the work.
Yes.
I took a personality assessment the other day.
I love it.
And it was for work, right? I've got this new manager, and he's trying to hone in on everyone's comparative advantage, right? Okay. And he's such a dope manager because he's a change manager. And my background is in business, but more on org behavior. And so I've studied like marketing and all that stuff. I love like just business management and organizational behavior and culture, because that's really what, to me, that drives your business, right? And so it's a big passion of mine. So he's that kind of manager. So he comes in, take this assessment, and my assessment, both of them said, I don't like to do the work.
I think I would have the same outcome. I think I would have the exact same outcome, because, like, again, my husband, do you ever take a break?
Yeah.
Like, I'm always doing something. And it may not, like, be work to other people, but I'm just always doing something.
Right? Like, you like to do cool stuff. And then when you're a visionarist, because you clearly are a visionarist, right? Visionaries they don't have a passion to be bogged down. But you can't ship all day.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You can't send emails all day.
Yeah.
You're like, no, okay, what's next? What are we doing next? How are we gonna, captivate this audience? How are we gonna grow this business? Someone has to do that. And then you've got your soldiers that are amazing at executing.
Amazing.
I am not an executor. I will make sure it gets done. I sure will. It'll get done, honey. Whatever you want, I promise you it'll get done. But am I gonna do it? Probably not.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said somebody has to fry the fish. I like
Fish. Somebody got to
that.
fry the fish. I'm raise my hand.
I don't like doing stuff either. Yeah, it's not okay to do things all the time. Those are my ears. It's me. Oh goodness, what have I done to myself?
Can you hear? Because I can hear you still.
I can hear. It's just not.
Can you guys hear her okay?
Y'all hear me? Is that fine?
Because I hear you just fine.
Okay, so I'll just keep rolling then. We'll just go ahead and turn this thing to the right. But yeah, completely. Someone has to do the work. So yeah, so with your daughter, her wanting to go to school is kind of where we kind of left off there. So I went on a whole tangent.
Yeah, that's okay. Listen, one thing I would say, and this is why I really appreciate her, and she's been just so instrumental at me being able to work on the business and grow it, right? Because she helps out a lot around here. That's why, you know, when she asks to go places or do things, now she knows she just can't, you know, spring it on me, but
yeah,
I try to, you know, be like a yes mom to her.
Yeah.
When it's, you know, appropriate and safe. Yes. You know, and so she's been, like I said, she's been really, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible, because she's a huge part of you being able to wear all those hats, you know?
Yeah.
And
my first baby.
Yeah. Like y'all, like you said, y'all have grown up together. And so when she leaves for college, so like how have you started thinking of that? I mean, with her wanting to go away for school or to school, right?
I think she does. Like my dad and I, we were talking, and he was like, well, make sure she doesn't go too far. You don't want her to go, you know, across the country. Yeah. She was thinking about A&T. My brother, he went to A&T, North Carolina A&T. To be exact. So she was thinking about that. And then I think Florida State or something like that. So I was like, okay.
So far out.
Yes. So, but, you know, I don't want to, I want her to be able to experience life.
Yes.
Because that was something that I can't say that I didn't experience life and I didn't go places, because that would be a lie. I did. But I want her to see as much as the world as possible. I want her to see that there are other cultures out there, you know, and meet different and new people, and be able to gain her independency and learn how to, you know, just be by herself, you know, learn how to be an adult.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, because me being me, you know, I'm going to worry about her worryabouts and calling her, try to tell her do this and this and that.
Yeah.
You know, still be a mom, of course. But yeah.
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 I've got a friend that's kind of going through that right now. She had her first child, or her child, at a younger age. Right. And, you know, it's almost time, right? It's like senior year. And so we were talking about that, and, you know, what that transition is going to look like. And, you know, it's hard. It's a hard pill. I don't know, like when my son goes, oh my goodness. I mean, I've got quite some time. I got a few months, but time flies by so fast.
It does. It
does. So it's just so important to just like hold your babies close and like love on them as much as possible.
Right.
But yeah, I just love that. So as we get ready to just kind of wrap up, this has just been such a great conversation with you. Oh my goodness. Like, it's taken so many, you know, twists and turns and all that good stuff. I would love to hear, what do you have next? Like, what's next for the Her brand? What is next for Shaquita, for you, right? Like, what's next?
What's next for me? I am really trying to expand the marketing and business coaching side. I want to have these extravagant events for women where we can build community and be able to come together, especially since the pandemic is kind of, you know, we're
weaning,
able to be comfortable and get out there and meet and you know, like I have an event tomorrow that I'm going to be speaking at. So this is,
congratulations to that, first off.
Thank you. This is like my third or fourth one, but I like speaking and I like inspiring people. And I love teaching. So I want to be able to do that. And I want to be able to get to the point where, we get together and we go on retreats, a business retreat, sort of say, where we do a little work, but we have a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and just be able to celebrate those wins. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. And if you need a personal chef, just let me know. I'll be right there, girl.
Absolutely. You are the first person on call. Absolutely. I'm also like on a personal level, and I probably turn this into a business venture too, but I have started a little bit real estate, right?
Yes.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's something I do want to be able to turn it into a course and show other people how to do it. So that's something that I do like to do on a personal side too.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And as you're talking, it's like you don't really think about being able to turn something that, or even going into something, that's part of you being a planner, right? Is going into something saying, oh, I like this. Now, as I'm going through it, I'm going to be documenting it. I'm going to be, so that I can then teach someone on the flip side. So that purpose of you being an educator in the world, like that'll always be there no matter what season.
No matter what. And real estate, that's like the number one way to build wealth,
It is.
And I want as many as us to be able to create that generational wealth because, we didn't have that, So I would like to be able to create not only opportunities for my kids and their kids, but other people's kids as well, and for them to be able to see an example, because again, I didn't have that example, so that's,
you're so dynamic, like, wow, right? Like, I wear your
oh, you're so sweet.
And,
you're so sweet.
I mean, you really are. But just to like be able to sit down and just hear your story and hear your direction and where you're going, like, one day you're going to be on someone's stage somewhere having someone's TED Talk, and I'm just so excited. I got to kind of have you first.
Now, I'm going to throw something out here, and I don't want y'all to judge, okay? You guys may be like, huh? I've always felt like I've been called to be a minister.
Yes.
I don't know why. I've always, like, even when I was a little girl, and like, how you hear something and it's true, but you're like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
That's the stage that I'm in right now, right? Because I always felt like, even with, telling people that I had my daughter at a young age, I did not share that at first.
Wow.
And it wasn't so much that I was embarrassed, but a little bit, but not a lot. The thing with me was, because I was in the education field, because I was working with other children and young girls, I didn't want to come off as
it's okay,
a message that says that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do want to tell my story to be able to say, hey, it's not the end of the world, because I felt like that. I even like in my church, that was the one place where I felt the most embarrassed. Absolutely. Because I got the dirty looks, and oh my gosh, she's pregnant. Yeah, So, and isn't that crazy that I had that experience, but I still, think I'm called to be a minister? That's crazy. But anyway.
But here's the thing, and I want to address a couple comments. Andrea said, yes, we're created to be multifaceted. Good for you. Yes, good for you. And then Brenda said, yes, that came to me when you said how you lined up your dolls to teach. Mm-hmm. And, as you're saying, like, that you feel called to being a minister.
Right.
So one thing, without like getting too, preachy, I'm not somebody that, like, I don't know a lot of biblical scriptures. I'm not that person. I will never be that person. Right.
Right.
However, when it comes to just looking at things from a higher level view, I am pretty skilled at that. And but so for you to say that, and sometimes it can be viewed as literal, like I want to be in the pulpit. I received it as you are ministering, right? Like right now,
come on now,
you are ministering, and we
come
have
on now.
different ways of ministering. Like the minister is not just necessarily in the congregation, right? Like you're a member of, or not. I don't know. You're God's child regardless. But the minister is in, like Jesus was in the streets. He's ministering in the streets to the people. Because
come on and preach, girl.
I'm just saying.
Preach, girl.
Like the moment you say that, I'm like, how does she not see that she is a minister? You know, you could be her minister. True talk. Look, I have my points though if you actually use that word.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
And so that's why you're able to receive as well as you're able to, you know, output. And you're already speaking like, yes, no, you are her minister. Okay.
I'll take that.
We're gonna start calling you that. So yeah, so this was great. I guess Nancy is preaching.
Yeah.
I say preaching. So Alicia was on last week, and she's a long time friend of, well, not long time friend. I've known her a long time. She's a short time friend, but a long time friend at the same time.
Right.
We went to college together and have gotten really close over the past year or two. But
that's great.
Yeah, I am always preaching to somebody because it's just a thing. So for me, I had my best friend passed away last year during the pandemic, and when I met her, one thing that she had said was that we worked together at a call center for a while, because that's a whole nother 10 podcast episodes. Okay.
I worked at a call center before. I worked at a call center before as well.
Yeah. It was, I was in a transitional place in my life, I guess I should call it. And so we met during that transition for me. And and so it was kind of odd for me to just be there. It was just kind of a crazy space. But we were both leaders in the call center. But she had said to me at one point, she was like, you are called to develop leaders. And I was like, girl, bye. Like legit, like girl, bye, whatever you say. But it was more so the way that I see people, right? And sometimes it's a hindrance because I think people are above where they even see themselves, and I've had to learn, like, you can't force someone or want something more
than that person. Absolutely. Yeah.
At the same time, it's like when it's like you who is out here killing it and like inspiring women and inspiring your daughter, and you have a story that is not for you. Sometimes we think our stories are for us. They're not. That story was not for you.
Right.
That story was for the world. And so I look so forward to you kind of growing in this space and just maturing in that space. And cheers to everything that's going to come for you.
Yeah. When somebody says call center prepares for any environment, you got that right. You got that right.
It really does.
But thank you. I appreciate that. And this was such a great conversation. I didn't know where we were going to go with it. I knew we were going to talk a little bit about business and marketing. Yeah. But this was a great conversation. You kind of pulled some things out of me that I haven't spoke on yet. I plan on writing a book really soon. To give you all the tea, to get a little tea.
Definitely buying, hands down, definitely buying. And I'm actually thinking about doing a roundtable, like entrepreneur type discussion at some point, because and I'm definitely going to invite you back for that, because we got to talk.
Yes,
we got to talk. Okay. So, but yeah, so that's it for this Sips and Convos. Thank you so much for joining me. I totally appreciate you.
Next week, you for having me.
I can't. Oh my God, this is terrible. I cannot remember my lineup for next week.
It's okay.
I'm gonna post about it, but I believe next week I've got someone that is going to be speaking on, a young lady, all about like spirituality and manifesting your best you. I believe that's next week. So really excited about that. If it's not that, then it's another spicy topic. So, but anyways, I'm going to post about that separately because my mind has lost me. It's in my calendar though. So, yeah, look to see you all next week. And for those that joined late, I do have my own personal cuisine business. Lovely Shaquita here has been a client of mine, you know, from far, far away. I'm not necessarily shipping food no more. It's good. Okay, I gotta come to you to make the food, but I do have nice little treat boxes and looking to kind of expand on that, and of course the culinary chef business. So so follow me at Nita's Cuisine, and it's right in my bio. Just click on that and hit follow. And but yeah, we'll see you next time.
And a recipe book coming soon.
A recipe book coming soon. I am actually writing down all my recipes. I gotta type it out. Good. I told you I like to do stuff. So, but yes, a recipe book is definitely coming soon. So I'll see you everyone later. Thank you so much. Bye.
Send me this live.
Yes.
Are you able to save it?
I can.
I
save
hope
it.
you're able to save it. Okay.
No, yeah, it's gonna save, and then I think I'll share it with you.
Okay.
Is how it works.
Maybe, but I'll be able to download it if you share it.
Okay, we need to talk because I need to learn how to download. Okay. All right. Okay. See y'all later.
Bye, girl.
Bye.